My dad sets the bar high when it comes to fathers and partners and gentlemen. Every year, without fail, he sends me Valentine's flowers. He opens the door for my mom and insists that she orders first at restaurants. And he'll ask me things like, "Buddy, you're on a tough mood today. Are you perhaps on your cycle?" And then he'll go and buy me tampons. So my dad can handle stuff, but he's a proper gentleman and a total sweetheart. My dad is also 6 feet 9 inches tall and 250 pounds and has gigantic hands. In middle school, I remember we went to Busch Gardens in Tampa, Florida, and we went to go see like the big gorilla house, and they had imprints of the largest male gorilla's hands, and my dad's were equal in size. So that's telling. My dad was really involved in my life too growing up. Like, he was my basketball coach, he came to all of my school activities and plays, and he taught me to be a lady. He taught me to say yes ma'am and no sir and not take the Lord's name in vain. We're from the South. And to make casual small talk with anyone. Buddy, you want to be able to walk over that fence post over there and make good conversation with it. Be able to talk to a fence post if you had to. So basically, my dad wanted us to respect others and be respectable ourselves. And when I wasn't being respected, he taught me to deal with that in one of two ways: empathy or assertion. So like back in the day, if a girl was hassling me at school, I felt confident that my dad would say, she's probably been dealt a tough card or two at home. You want to show her a little kindness, keep your confidence up? And so I try to do that, and then, I still struggle with this balance. So like in more recent years in my dating life, if a guy was hassling me, my dad would be like, "I'm gonna tell you something right now. You scream like a wild animal, poke him in the eyes, punch him in the Adam's apple, kick him where it counts, and you go run screaming like a bat out of hell." So my dad was like defensive in the exact way you want a dad to be. Like, he had this soft-heartedness, but he had some hard edges, and he lived by his principles. Now, another interpretation of my dad's softness is that he can be a total pansy. "How was your day, Dad?" "Oh, pretty good. Went downtown to the Bloodmobile to give some type B. Fainted on the poor nurse, but other than that, standard day." "How was the football game, Dad?" "Oh, good ball game, although the wide receiver broke his ankle, and after watching on slow-mo one too many times, I was nauseous for several hours." "How was the dentist, Dad?" "No cavities to speak of." "Dad?" "Okay, I fainted in the waiting room. They had to give me a little oxygen." Okay, so that's like 6 feet 9 inches of girly man right there. And my dad passing out on you is less like a horse jockey and more like Dukemi Mutombo, where it's like, if my dad falls in the woods, everybody gonna hear it. Like, it's that kind of thing. So when it came time this past fall for my dad to get his flu shot, I happened to be in Florida visiting, and I did not want to miss this. So he decides to go down to our neighborhood CVS, where my parents do all of their pharmacy things, and they talk about the pharmacists like their family. "That Beverly down there is just a doll." "I tell you what, that Indian gentleman down there, he is smart as a tack and would dang near take a bullet for you." So it turned out that when my dad went down there, the Indian gentleman was out sick, ironically, in flu season. And it was revealed that Beverly could not give shots because she had palsy. My dad uses his phrase for, "That's not gonna happen, that dog ain't gonna hunt." So my dad concedes to going to the neighboring Walgreens, but I can tell he's in a little bit of a panic because it's not his normal people. So I agreed to go with him as his buddy. I'm like, this ought to be good. So we get down there, my dad goes and puts his name on the list, and I look at nail polish or something, and then he comes back and he's like, "Some good-looking woman is giving shots today." He's trying to like work out his nervousness. So we go and sit down, and my dad tries to put the blood pressure thing on his bicep, and almost like cuts it in half because he's so big. We go to laugh out of that, and it lightens the mood. But I can tell, like my dad's dentist experiences, that he is dying thinking that he's gonna pass out on this woman. And I just know when she comes out, he's gonna try to make the casual small talk with her. And sure enough, she's like, "Okay, sir, looks like you're in for your flu shot today." And he's like, "Yeah, with flu season comes, dead leaves and football and flu shots, am I right?" She's he's like, okay, come on back. So I can see my dad get white around the mouth and like sweat beads up on his bald head. And I grab an AARP magazine and I'm like, I'm cool, I'm calm, nothing's happening, chill. You know, and he goes back there and I'm kind of listening, I can hear him. And she's like, I can just picture it. She's like, okay, so I'm gonna roll up your sleeve here. Okay, here's a little alcohol swab. Now you're gonna feel a little pinch. And in the moment of the shot, all my dad can think to say in his utter nervousness and anticipation is, now you better look out. When you stick it in me, I may have to go down on you. Yep. And I'm like, should I go in there and save him? I don't save him from himself. You know, but like a verbal shitstorm, he just blurts out, and if I go down on you, you're gonna have to catch my head. So I am like white knuckling the AARP magazine. I'm like sweating and laughing and crying all at the same time, like this did not go well. So my dad emerges from the pharmacy room and he doesn't look like he's panicky or fainting at all. He is like a racehorse out of the gate, like trying to get out of this Walgreens. I'm like, Dad, what? And he's like, oh yeah, yep, let's get out of here before I get reported. So my dad, in all of his huge hands and gentlemanly glory and good intentions, has now made this poor young good-looking pharmacist the woman who needs to be cut a little slack and shown some kindness, and he's the guy who needs to be poked in the eyes and punched in the Adam's apple and kick him where it counts and, you know, send her out like a bat out of hell. So it's good to know that my dad still tries to help me find that balance between empathy and assertion, but it's also comforting to know that he doesn't always know how to find the balance himself.